Lafayette's Freetown neighborhood was a symbolic place in our country's history. It was where newly freed slaves could explore a new way of life.
And some of those symbols like Good Hope Hall still present today. Victor Georges takes a look at the past, present, and future of Freetown.
Filled with history and culture, Freetown is a special place here in Lafayette. More than 100 years ago, it was the place freed slaves could call home and learn how to live in freedom. Freetown, between University Avenue and Evangeline Thruway, is a cultural jewel. The historic value of this area dates back to the 1800s. Right after the Civil War, this neighborhood became a safe haven for newly freed slaves. Here, they could navigate the new freedom while working as craftsmen. During the Reconstruction era, community leaders started running for office. Some members formed the True Friends, a society that would fight against the KKK and Riders of the White Camellia. The work of True Friends can still be seen today.
Freetown started out as an integrated neighborhood. It had blacks and whites there from the very beginning. And it still is like that today. And that it alone is exceptional.
Dr. Ray Brasseur spent years looking into Freetown. His team got Freetown to be recognized as a historic district. He says knowing our history is crucial to understanding our today.
If we were to understand that history, we wouldn't be starting again on questions like voters' rights that we have now before us.
Attorney Glenn Amenter has deep roots in the area.
When I was a little boy, I played in the Freetown community. Most of my friends were little African-American children, and so I grew up in this community, and all of my friends were here, and I decided that I'd want to come back one day.
He says the building where his offices are housed has a lot of historic value.
Good Hope Hall, the building that we purchased for our law practice in the middle of Freetown, is the seat of culture and history for the African-American community. It is where the African-American culture began and developed and became history and became famous in the Lafayette community.
Back when it was still a place where jazz musicians would entertain the people of Freetown, Armenter says there was no other place like it anywhere.
The white people showed up to listen because it was world-class jazz, but because of segregation, they'd stay outside. So the white people were outside, the black people were inside. And it's probably the only place that happened, and it happened every weekend.
Plus, he says leaders from Freetown have a lasting legacy in Acadiana.
The freemen of color out of Freetown have set the tone for leadership of the black community in historic Lafayette for centuries.
Armenter has a plan to build a space called Freetown Hall, a park with a statue commemorating the history of Freetown. He says he has been working on this for decades and hopes to finish it in the next few years. In Lafayette, Victor Georges, KATC TV3.